Do y'all like my hair? It looks a lot better than it usually does. This is better, y'all. This is better. I'm tempted to just shave my head again. Yes, I did that. I used to be an alcoholic. I got stories for days. I was thinking about how I never tell these stories on stage, mainly because I feel like I got way too many more things to say that I feel are way more important than, my little stories. But I guess if my stories had some sort of moral, some sort of underlying theme, like don't be a liberal and don't become an alcoholic, but that's really hard to do, when you're a liberal, to not become some kind of addict. But I don't want to just knock liberals, because I feel like I'm still a liberal in a way, mainly because I'm open-minded. And it's really important to be open-minded, especially if you're right about stuff and you want to get your point across. You're not going to be able to do that by judging people and being stuck in your ways. You're going to do that by being innovative and listening to people that you don't want to listen to and taking their words to heart. I was thinking about this conversation that I had with this girl I was telling you about, the one that had an abortion. And we didn't argue or anything. That's the coolest thing about this. This is another open-minded person. Because not many women are able to have conversations about abortion. Most women that are pro-choice, i.e. pro-abortion, those women cannot talk to anybody that is pro-life. But we were able to sit down and have this conversation. And, she told me, you're religious, so you think that life begins at blah, 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 conception. Life begins at conception. Well, there are several, parts of the scripture that I could cite. But, if you don't read the Bible, then they're not going to mean anything to you. And I'm really glad that we had this discussion, because there's always something you can learn. There's really no point in talking to people and trying to get them to change their mind about something like that if their whole viewpoint of human life is different than yours, okay? But that's why I take it a lot further. That's why I talk about the smartphones being progressive abortion. Because I see all these kids come into my restaurant with a phone that's bigger than their head, and it really bothers me. It doesn't bother me anywhere near as much the idea of people nipping it in the bud early, so to speak. I mean, I disagree with it. I think it's wrong. I don't think that shit should be legalized. But it's I have a very unconventional view of this shit, and I know that it's gonna piss off everybody. But I think if you get yourself into that mess, you can get yourself out of it. And there are various ways to do that shit. They're immoral and they're unethical, but there are various ways to get yourself out of that shit. So the idea of having these clinics, usually in poverty-stricken areas, I mean, it's just terrible. It's just you're encouraging people to make that decision, You take away that encouragement, it's going to happen a lot less. You take away the option to be able to do it legally, and now all of a sudden you're a criminal if you kill your baby, which you should be. But still, you know, I mean, if that baby is in your womb and you don't want it, y'all are gonna realize how creative women truly are. I mean, I'm not suggesting that. I'm not saying that that's what they should do, but I'm just saying that, like, I don't understand, like, why they don't look at it like that. But anyway, yeah, you know, that's probably what gets people mad on Rumble, like when you say shit like that. Fuck people on Rumble. Y'all motherfuckers are just as sensitive as these leftists. You're just as sensitive. You can't handle different opinions. You want to act like you can? I'll be the judge of that, bitch. I'll be the judge of that. Come on with your slow ass. Ugh. Anyway. If you really want to solve problems, you have to be willing to talk to people that have made bad decisions, okay? Because if you talk to those people, you'll have a deeper understanding as to why those decisions happen, okay? I mean, I guarantee you, most of these women that either believe in abortion or they've had an abortion believe exactly what this girl told me. Life doesn't begin at conception, so it doesn't matter if I kill it off quick, you know? That's how they see it. But at the same time, she told me that she was depressed about it. I'm like, well, why are you depressed if you didn't do anything wrong? I feel like women deep down know that it's wrong. They know deep down that it's a terrible, 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 terrible thing. But they also know that women as a whole make bad decisions. And so I think that there's a teeny tiny amount of self-awareness there in regards to, like, our true nature. I mean, this girl admitted to me that she was emotionally manipulative sometimes. I mean, who does that? Only a bitch with self-awareness, man. Only a bitch with self-awareness. So, you know, it's really important. That people are willing to have conversations. You kind of contradicted yourself in this video, though, because you said, oh, well, what's the point of having conversations with people? No, what I'm saying is that, like, based off of this conversation that I had with her, it makes sense out of the typical feminist position on abortion, and that because they don't believe that life begins at conception, they don't think it's anywhere near as big of a deal as it actually is, okay? The man in my head is like mansplaining to me. He's like, excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, honey. This is why I don't need a husband. I already got one.